Hello ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And you join me today for a battle in the Nelson class battleship. Oh baby, I've got it. Yes, it is mine. It is mine. Oh yes, it is mine. Party on, dudes. HMS Nelson. Jesus, this ship is just so cool. HMS Nelson, very, very iconic ship. The Nelson and the Rodney, it's not the greatest name for a ship, is it? You know, it's just like Nelson, Rodney. The Nelson class battleship was pretty much the first sort of post-Washington Treaty battleship. It sort of had this all-or-nothing approach where very big guns of 405mm, pretty much the biggest the Royal Navy had at the time, on board a very fast, apparent, when designed, it was meant to go fast, very fast, very agile, battleship with some relatively good armour. Now, the armour protection on this ship is weird because you've got very good citadel armour once you're pretty much angled, but flat sides or from the front flat, or, you know, in certain positions you can be really vulnerable. However, you have got some very good guns on board. As you just saw, we just annihilated that Wyoming. It just vanished in front of our eyes almost, you know, and this is the thing about these guns, is they can absolutely tear apart battleships. They have got a lot of penetration on board. You also have a lot of secondaries as well. I'm trying to think of the caliber now. 12 152mm guns. Yeah, lots and lots of secondaries, and big secondaries as well. And it's mainly, look, you need a couple of good hits and that's it. The thing is with these shells, they are so big they will just rip apart anything. The one drawback of this ship is the all-or-nothing approach of the two super firing turrets at the front and then the X turret behind them, which is designed for broadside. You can kind of position the ship to get a fairly decent broadside at an angle, like I'm doing here. You know, it's sort of straight on, and we've got a slight angle to this ship. It gives us a good bit of positioning, and as you can see, 5 hits there, and an awful lot of damage just appeared. This thing is an absolute beast. It's also very good at making credits. We will see at the end of the game. Anyway, this isn't actually a history of episode or a history episode or anything like that. I just wanted to brag about owning a Nelson in Modern Warships. The Nelson class is basically it's kind of a premium, you can call it, but you get it by getting free experience. And when you get the free experience, basically you can unlock this ship for 1 credit. Now I'm going to take a torpedo here. Oh, yep, 1 torpedo, not the best place to take it, but not too bad. We're going to recover that health. We're okay. Interesting thing about the torpedo protection of the Nelson and torpedoes in general, HMS Nelson, when she sort of was first floating around in the Second World War, I think she took 4 torpedoes, I think it was, from a German U-boat in the North Sea. However, all 4 of them were duds. There is a sheer amount of luck in that situation. It is just lucky. But the Nelson did have a very interesting little trick up its sleeve. Basically, the side of the ship would be filled with water, adding to her displacement and weight, putting her well over the Washington Treaty. The section also housed the oil for the oil burning, things like that, and 12,000 damage, and no engine for that Emerald. 1 hit, that was all it took. But basically, they would pump the side of this ship full of water, and it was a commonish practice. The Nelson had a interesting little bilge and system for it, though, and it was a trick system. It wasn't meant to have it, and it was only really talked about after the war. But it basically would dampen the effect of a torpedo. Of course, when you've got water there, it stops a concussive blast, it stops the force of it, it spreads it out a little bit more, it helps protect the ship. because the main damage from a torpedo is, you see torpedoes in many military games, and they tend to be very close to the surface. In reality, they weren't that close to the surface. They were usually pretty low down, because what you wanted was the torpedo to detonate underneath the ship, or as low as possible, because what would happen is the explosive force, the concussive force of an explosion is pretty much tripled or quadrupled, or it's really, really lots of added numbers when it goes off underneath water. And basically, it will cause the hull to shatter in many cases. A single torpedo can take out the mightiest ship if you break its back. And this is almost what happened to the Nelson. When she was coming back into Loch U, I think it was, or Loch A, or E, Loch E, Loch U, or U, sorry, Loch U. Sorry, I lost the ability to say U then, as in female sheep U. In Scotland, a magnetic mine went off underneath her hull and messed the boat up a bit. It really caused a lot of damage, so the ship had to be repaired, and it took about a year to repair. In all honesty, it was a big, no, about 8 months, 10 months to repair. It was a lot of damage. Now, when we say magnetic mines, people often envision mines that magnetically click to the bottom of the ship. This wasn't the case back in 1939, because the British had no clue as how these mines were working. And what they actually did is they went off the magnetic radiation caused by the Earth's crust. And when you get a ship passing over the magnetic surface like that, it basically has its own magnetic effect, especially steel that's not galvanized, I think it is, or I think that's the one. There's a word for it, I can't remember the actual word, but basically it detects the curvature of the Earth changing, and then it will explode. And this mine's laying quite low below the seabed. It's not actually sitting high up, so it's basically impossible to snatch and grab the old-fashioned way. Normal minesweeping is you throw a couple of ropes between two boats, tow it along, catch all the mines. With magnetic mines, it didn't work, and it took a while for the Royal Navy to actually figure out what was happening. And then they finally worked out what it was, and then all ships had their hulls galvanized, and it was no longer a problem. But it was a really cool little device, and something that people often forget with magnetic mines is they weren't mines that are underneath water and then detected, oh, there's a metal thing above me, I'm going to blow up. It detected the size and mass. So you could sort of set a magnetic mine to only go off when a battleship passes over it, or when a cruiser. All of these things, very clever stuff. Anyway, this video, as I said, is not really a history video, but I'm starting to go off on one, aren't I? Yeah, the Nelson class in World of Warships is bloody fun. This boat, as I said, one thing, look at it, it's gorgeous. This ship is absolutely stunning. It is an absolutely beautiful boat, and it's just so different to every other warship, and it kind of has a similar look to things like the Dunkirk and the other one, the Alsace, I think it is. I think it's the Alsace, which is, the French battleship, and the French battleships like the Dunkirk and the Alsace, I'm pretty sure it's the Alsace, I've probably got it wrong, they were pretty much the first Washington Treaty battleships to get it right, and that sort of front gun approach, it worked really well. They were bloody good boats. The Germans would love to have got their hands on them, basically. This Dallas is just going to get a spanking. Pretty much dead in one shot, so that's always nice. Nice citadel there and a few penetrations. 95,000 damage now. But yeah, this sort of style of battleship was very interesting. And of course, the Rodney was the ship to pound the Bismarck into pretty much having to scuttle itself. It shot so many shells at the German battleship that it ran out, which is an impressive feat when you think about it. It shows how strong the Bismarck was. It shows how revolutionary that ship was, and you have to remember that these ships, like the Rodney and the Nelson class in general, are from the 1920s. Um, it was a very old ship at the time, and the same thing for the battle cruisers of the British Navy, like the Hood and stuff like that. They were old ships. They weren't really the modern of the modern. So yeah, they sort of had some issues. Um, anyway, this video, yeah, other than bragging about the Nelson and just showing off a fun video, it does have a point. I'm just coming on to say just hello, really, and just see how everything is, and just let people know what's going on. So I'm going to be working on another history video soon, and also going to be starting a new series. Now, I know I've got a couple of series to wrap up. Resident Evil is in the works. Me and Steam and Sticks, aka Steph, are having a bit of a... We're both busy when we're sort of needing to do it, and it's just been hard trying to get each other on the right time and stuff like that. So we do plan on getting it. Also, we're kind of stuck at Nemesis, so we're trying to work out what to do there. There's also Valkyria Chronicles that I want to finish as well. So that is a game that I want to get out, and taking out one of the New York class's main guns there, which is always a valid tactic to do, because if you can take out one of the main guns or take out part of the ship's weaponry, you're going to really cause it strife, which is a really good idea. If you're facing a front-on battleship, if you know you've got a penetration, it works quite well. This New York's showing us broadside at the moment. We're trying to reload, but well, those torpedoes have got it. A shame there. That would have been a nice salvo. Instead, we're going to have to look at this Indianapolis. The Indianapolis looks like a juicy target. We'll shoot from the front. Not the optimum sort of place to shoot, but we almost kill it with 5 penetrations and 2 over penetrations. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be starting a new series soon, and yeah, I know I do have a tendency to not finish series, but yeah, we'll try and finish this one, try and do it. So that should be interesting and fun. And again, there's going to be more history stuff. I do plan on getting some history stuff done soon. One big plan as well is I want to actually get down to the Adelaide airport, because they've got a Vickers Vimy there from the 1920s, and basically a Vickers bomber. And it was flown to Australia, one of the first planes to land in Adelaide. I think it was the first sort of silly travelling distance things. Queen Elizabeth there, front on, so we'll just fire all our guns at the Queen Elizabeth. A very capable battleship and very strong armour, and we penetrate 5 times through the front. And as you can see, this is where the Nelson is just deadly. If you've not got guns firing on you and you can get your weapons off, you will just annihilate everything. Now there's the Atlanta coming along to the side there, and I just want to make sure it's killed really, because the Atlanta is a dangerous boat on this map, because it can take out your landing ships basically. So yeah, the gameplay and stuff will be coming soon, and there'll be a few new bits and bobs happening. Feel free to join the Discord as well, even if you don't want to talk, just want to lurk there and just be a lurker and just see what's happening. I sometimes post news or events, things like that. War Thunder, yes, I'm still going to be posting up the login boxes, but gameplay is going to be a bit of a... It's not going to be something that's going to come too quickly. I'm sort of mainly just going to be focusing on World of Warships for the moment, just because I need a massive break. War Thunder is just absolutely atrocious at the moment. Couple of good pens on the Colorado. Unfortunately, we hit the Scharnhorst a couple of times. Luckily, no friendly damage. So we're up to 1,700... Sorry, 171,000 damage. And we might be able to get one more salvo off on this Colorado. So yeah, basically there's a few new exciting things happening, and yeah, things will be sort of returning to normal, so to say, and sort of things will be happening, and it should be pretty fun, hopefully. So we'll just head to the post-battle results screen now. And we are back. So yes, a really good game there. I'm pretty happy with that. So as you can see, made 440,000 credits, which is a bloody good amount of credits. 1,800 free experience just off the bat, and then 6,000 free experience if we use some doubloons to unlock it. 1,700, 1,000 and 171,000 damage, 90 hits on target. Let's just look at the things down here, and incapacitations, a few citadels, which is always nice. Now, team score, we actually didn't finish too high. It's amazing. It's, you know, you think you've done so well in that mode, and you really haven't. Let's just head to the detailed report now, or when I remember to click it. Sorry, I've recorded this in the past. So there we go, you can see all the bits and bobs, and you can see I need to put a repair flag on this, or a resupply flag, because it does use up a bit of credits with the resupply of the shells, especially those big shells. They're pretty expensive things to use, but overall not a bad profit margin. And then credits, and as you can see, after everything we've got 365,000 credits, so yeah, really not bad at all. So really happy with that match, and I'm really enjoying the Nelson, especially in the PvE mode. I adore this mode, it's so much fun. I wish other games would look at it, because it is just such a brilliant mode. Let's just head back to port now, and show the Nelson in its dock. And as you can see with the Nelson, it is a very large ship. One of the interesting things in history, though, is the way it was designed. It sort of looked like the British oil tankers. So sometimes, obviously, submarines would go for it and then be surprised it's a battleship. Let's just grab a container here, and we'll grab some flags. See if we get anything special. But I doubt it, it's my luck. Again, getting these free little crates is also a really nice feature. It just gives you something extra to fight for. So, some coal, some flags, and that's about it, really. Nothing super special there, but oh well, we'll be happy with that. It always helps out. So, the Nelson itself is lightly armoured across the front, and this can be a problem when you're facing cruiser caliber guns, or even destroyer caliber guns sometimes, because of the 25mm-ish armour. It's not very heavy, so you can get set on fire a bit. The Citadel, though, is very tough. The outside armour looks a bit weak, but when you actually go inside, you can see how strong this ship is. The front section is pretty weak, as I said, and that's easy to set on fire, and same with the rear. But generally, you don't show your rear to the enemy. So your superstructure in your front might get set on fire a bit, but it's not too common. The Citadel and deck armour protection of the ship is pretty damn meaty, so it is really handy in that respect. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.